Welcome back to another episode of Unbridled History. I'm Oz, and today we're digging back right into internet horrors and urban legends. Last episode we did it on the Mothman, so we'll link it right there. It'll be in that little eye thing that pops up. I'll have to do that when the video uploads. But yeah, no, the Mothman was a great episode. I think it was a really fun thing to research and really fun thing to learn about. This episode, we're talking about two cryptids. And first one, we're starting off with one that everyone knows, everyone loves. My personal favorite cryptid, the Sasquatch, also known as Bigfoot, also known as a Yeti if you're in the winter terms. Now, a lot of people will argue that the Yeti is not a Sasquatch. However, I would say otherwise. And then, after the Bigfoot, we will be talking about the Kalonoro from Madagascar. So, without further ado, let's get into the video. All right, part 1, Bigfoot, also known as Sasquatch, like I mentioned earlier. The term Sasquatch comes from an angelicalization of the Halicomelum word, Saskiats. I think I'm saying them wrong. Forgive me if I am. Meaning wild man. The indigenous peoples thought throughout what is now Canada and the United States, had these stories of large, hairy humanoids, or wild men, that paralleled many of the features later applied to that of Bigfoot. One of the earliest documented accounts dates back to 1811 by explorer David Thompson, who described footprints and other signs of a large unknown creature while mapping. A major turning point for the Sasquatch came in 1958, when large human-like footprints were discovered by loggers, not joggers, loggers, near Bluff Creek, California, where the term Bigfoot began gaining traction in the newspapers. In October of '67, around the time that we were getting the Mothman scare on the East Coast with West Virginia, the famous Patterson-Gimlin film was shot by Roger Patterson and Robert Gimlin in Northern California. The footage purportedly shows a female Bigfoot walking through the forest, and to this day it remains controversial. However, over the decades, countless footprints, casts, sightings, photographs, and TV shows, i.e. Hunting Bigfoot, Finding Bigfoot, have reinforced Bigfoot's place in as a modern myth. Now, Bigfoot is typically described as a large bipedal hairy humanoid, standing sometimes 7 to 10 feet tall, covered in dark fur. Or if you're like me, when you wake up in the morning, your family says, "Hello, Bigfoot." So keep that in mind too. It is often associated with remote forested areas, especially the Pacific Northwest, though sightings have been reported across Northern America. Behavioral claims vary. Some describe Bigfoot with a quiet avoidance of humans. Others claim intimidation, strange howls, or unusual footprints. Scientific investigators point out that if such a creature existed in substantial numbers, we'd expect much more physical evidence, i.e. bones, carcasses, DNA, than we have. However, my personal opinion is that there is only one Bigfoot, which is why we're lacking so much evidence. Because there's only one. There only ever will be one. It's like Wesley Snipes from Deadpool 3. There will only ever be one Blade. However, I do think that Bigfoot is real. Personally, I don't need to put in my own personal views a lot into these videos because I want to keep it like research heavy and research driven. But I do want to say that I do believe Bigfoot is real because in one of the shows, they were in the woods and they got close to finding what they thought was Bigfoot. And as they were getting close, the government started closing in on them, meaning I think the government knows something is out there. And, yeah, I think Bigfoot is real. I honestly do. That is the one conspiracy theory cryptid that I actually believe in to be true. But that's just me. I'm a big Bigfoot fan. I'm a Bigfoot glazer, some would say. I have a Bigfoot hoodie. I should have worn the Bigfoot hoodie for this video, honestly. Maybe I'll wear it in the next video, just to throw you off. According to pieces by National Geographic, one of the key issues with cryptids like Bigfoot is that for a creature of that size to exist, reproduce, forage, and remain hidden, it should leave a far stronger biological and ecological trace. Again, it's not doing that because there's only one, in my personal opinion. Skeptics emphasize the lack of physical remains, the possibility of hoaxes, fake footprints, and people just messing around with Photoshop on film, and the psychological/social aspects of belief. For example, a Reddit discussion notes, if Bigfoot was real, we'd have whole families of 7-foot tall ape beasts. All these Bigfoots can't just hide in a bush all day. Take that as you will. Now, Bigfoot's cultural impact has become a fixture in American and global folklore, pop culture, tourism, media, and cryptozoology. It appears in movies, TV shows, restaurants, festivals, and memorabilia. For storytelling and myth making, which may interest any of you, Bigfoot offers several rich themes: the unknown in the wilderness, the boundary between civilization and wildness, and the tension between belief and evidence with the folklore of hidden species. Now, if you were to use Bigfoot in a story or world building aspect, this is new that I wanted to add in as well because I like writing. I'm a D&D DM, so I like figuring out where I can put things into a world with world building. So if you're like me and you want to use Bigfoot in a D&D campaign or a story, here's some world building ideas. In the fantasy or dark fantasy context of Dungeons & Dragons, Bigfoot type creatures could often represent the wild, untamed forces of the natural world, guardians of ancient forests, or echoes of older spirits long hidden from human society. You could tie the myth of such a creature to a suppressed history. Perhaps these beings once coexisted openly when magic was more common, and now hide as nature reclaims its power. And the final thing is the ambiguity of the creature. Is it benign? Is it terrifying? Is it a predator? Is it a protector? All part of Bigfoot's potency. So using that ambiguity would add depth to the creature, the character, and the world. Now, let's go hear a word from our sponsor, and when we come back, we will be talking about the Kalonoro from Madagascar. The sponsor of today's video is me. I'm sponsoring it because I can, I guess. I don't know. So the first thing I have is a merch store. It'll be scrolling through. We have some new designs for my album, Okay, But Warhol Would Have Loved Me. We're currently working on some metal designs that are, there's some pretty cool designs. They're my favorite designs. I'm working with my team on that. I got the Patreon up and going. I've got a couple things up there right now. So if you want to hear one of the metal songs that's not going to be on the album, go to the Patreon. Everything will be linked in the description or linked in the bio on the main channel. And then shameless plug here is join the Discord. The Wizard Tower is a pretty cool place. We got a pretty cool small little community, and I would love it for you to join. And yeah, back to the video. Alright, welcome back to the video. I hope you enjoyed that little ad break. This is now the segment where we talk about the Kalonoro from Madagascar. The Kalonoro is one of the newer cryptids that I've been learning about. It is from Malagasy folklore, from the Madagascar natives. They're described as small, hairy humanoids with fangs, glowing red eyes, and often backwards-facing legs, meaning they're called Smallfoot. So if I refer to them as Smallfoot, I apologize to my Madagascar watchers, followers, and whatever. Tradition tells that the Kalonoro once existed in corporeal form in the rainforests of Madagascar, but their physical forms are now extinct and they survive as spirits due to habitat destruction. They are said to live solitary lives, feed on raw meat, and produce whining vocalizations that even scare dogs. Some stories cast them as malevolent, stealing children, robbing humans, while others portray them as secretive but dwelling on the fringes of human society. Like I mentioned earlier, they are hairy with fangs, shining or red glowing eyes, long hair and nails. Their legs are sometimes described as backwards facing. They inhabit caves, i.e., the Andobara cave. I think I said that right. If I didn't, I apologize. Or several forested regions, preferably isolated, and are tied to both physical sightings and spiritual ancestral myth. In the Malagasy culture, they straddle between the boundary between myth, spirit, and cryptid, so they're a bit of all three of the realms of it, because they are said to have this corporeal form and shift towards their spiritual existence more. They carry layers of meaning: loss of habitat, transformation, hidden forms of life. Some stories present them as servants or guardians of humans in rare cases, provided respect is shown. While other tales warn of their theft of children or malicious intent, their ambivalence gives them narrative potential. Now, I didn't do a lot of research going into the Kalonoro or the Smallfoot, so this is pretty much the end of this segment. And why the Kalonoro matters, because it's less commonly known globally. The Kalonoro provides fresh material for a lot of cryptid research, which is why this segment is shorter. Now, like I mentioned earlier, big world builder, big storyteller. So here's how you can provide it into your story. It offers less baggage. You can adapt it, change details, or integrate it into your world with fewer preconceptions from your audience. For someone crafting a dark fantasy or mythic archaeology, the Kalonoro offers a model of a creature that transitions from physical to spiritual, hunted to hidden, which ties nicely into themes of suppression, forgotten history, transformation, and unseen power. The element of habitat destruction and the shift to a spiritual existence could parallel magical suppression of magical species in your campaign/novel world. This video is being recorded alongside another video, which you will see after this one. But that's it for this video. It's a little bit on the shorter end, because like I said, I don't have a lot of information on the Kalonoro. I couldn't find a lot of information on the Kalonoro, but this video has been fun to make, mostly because I love Bigfoot and I want to talk about Bigfoot, and the majority of the video is me talking about Bigfoot. I just like Bigfoot. Harry and the Hendersons is a good movie. That's about Bigfoot. Like I mentioned, Finding Bigfoot. There's the Snow Cone Yeti from Monsters, Inc. That was a good one. I think the Scooby Gang went after Bigfoot one time. Well, I think there's a lot going on with that. And in the next video, we're going to talk about the Asian cryptids, which will be fun. One of my favorite regions in the world, pretty much. So yokai, mostly. I don't know if you'd consider yokai Asian or cryptids. I don't know, but I'll see you in the next video. This has been the Unbridled History Part 2. I'm Oz, and yeah, we're out.